Bonjour, Madame Carpinella.
What?
Oh.
Okay.
Bonjour, Madame Carpinella.
Bonjour, Mademoiselle Heller.
So today we're here to talk about le comparatif et le superlatif and go over some of the rules, when we use this, and some of like the trickier parts of this grammar in French.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so we start with le comparatif, comparatives. And so for this, we are comparing, that's where the name comes from, two different things or ideas and like the qualities of these things or ideas. So we've got some example sentences here. Ma sœur est intelligente, mon frère est stupide. My sister is intelligent, but my brother is stupid. Le chien est beau, la souris n'est pas belle. The dog is beautiful, the mouse is not beautiful. Madame Carpinella est drôle, et Mademoiselle Heller est amusante. So Madame Carpinella is funny, Mademoiselle Heller is amusing or funny. So this is one way to do this. We can write down the individual qualities of each person or thing. But there's an easier way to do it. So let's take a look at these three sentences that are shorter. Ma sœur est plus intelligente que mon frère. La souris est moins belle que le chien. Madame Carpinella est aussi amusante que Mademoiselle Heller. So we have that my sister is more intelligent or smarter than my brother. The mouse is less beautiful than the dog, and Miss Carpinella is as funny as Miss Heller. So, Madame, what are some of the things that you notice about like these sentences here?
So I noticed a few things. First, I noticed that when you say comparing qualities, you're always using an adjective.
Definitely.
So a quality would be an adjective or a describing word.
100%.
I also noticed that after each adjective in each of these sentences is the word que. And I noticed that all of these adjectives are in the feminine form. So I'm curious if, or we should tell the students if adjectives in a comparative sentence are always feminine.
Okay, so I like 2 out of the 3 things that you noticed. Yes, a quality is always an adjective, right? It's something that can be describing a person or a thing. And I do like that you noticed the word que, because plus intelligent que is more intelligent than, and moins belle que, less beautiful than. So that que is being translated as than, which is helping us compare. But the adjective doesn't always need to be feminine. The adjective is going to agree with the gender of the noun at the very beginning of the sentence. So intelligent is going to agree with sir, belle is going to agree with souris, and amusante is going to agree with you. But if I had picked, for example, a masculine animal like le chat, then we would write le chat est moins beau que le chien. We just happen to pick 3 feminine nouns for this.
Okay.
All right. So we can compare the qualities of 2 different things, and we can also compare quantities of 2 different things. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at some of these sentences. Claude connaît beaucoup de personnes. Martine connaît peu de personnes. Le prof enseigne 4 cours. Le directeur enseigne 3 cours. Mademoiselle Heller a 2 chats. Et Madame Carpinella a 2 chats. So in this case, we are not saying that Claude is more popular. We're not saying that the teacher is more hardworking. We're not saying that, you know, I'm crazier or anything. But we're saying that Claude knows more people. The teacher teaches 4 courses, and that I have 2 cats. So we're talking about the number of objects that the person either has or knows or uses or something to that effect. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So when we're comparing, Claude connaît plus de personnes que Martine. Le directeur enseigne moins de cours que le prof. Mademoiselle Heller a autant de chats que Madame Carpinella. And we get to meet our cats here. Pep and Clove are on the left. Pep is gray and Clove's the white one. And then you have Daisy and Rosie. Which one's which?
Rosie is gray and white, and Daisy is kind of striped.
Ooh, very nice. And so what do you notice after you're done looking at the cats about these sentences here?
So I noticed that there's still a k. I noticed that after the plu and moi now we have de and a noun rather than an adjective.
Mm-hmm.
And I also noticed that in the last sentence we're not using aussi, we're using autant.
Perfect. You are 3 for 3 again. So yeah, because we're talking about a noun, a quantity, we need that de after plus or moi or autant. So that's the big difference between comparing a number of objects, nouns, versus a quality of a person. And autant is different than aussi because instead of just being the word as, it's actually as many. So if I say, you are as funny as I am, okay, you have as many cats as I do. So it's technically like a different word.
Okay.
Yeah, d'accord. Now, we can compare again at an even higher level by using le superlatif. And superlatif, we are saying that the thing that we're talking about is either at the highest point, is the most of something, or is at like the lowest point, it's the least of something. So if we take le superlatif as adjective, we've got the quality of 2 or more, usually, different things. So let's see how this looks. Martin mesure 1,5 m. Les amis, les camarades de Martin mesurent 1,3 m. Claire joue au tennis, mais ses grands-parents ne jouent pas au tennis.
So you could say that Martin est plus grand que ses amis.
You definitely could say that because we know that Martin is taller than the friends that we have listed here. And let's take a look and take it one step further. Martin est le plus grand de la classe. Et les grands-parents sont les moins sportifs de la famille. So in these examples, not only are we saying that Martin is taller than his friends, but we're saying he's the tallest of the entire class, so of potentially 20 or more students. And the way we know this is because he is 1.5 meters, but everybody else was only 1.3. And we have no information that says that anybody else could be taller. So he is the most tall of the class. The same thing is happening with the grandparents. We have Claire who plays tennis, but the grandparents aren't athletic at all. They don't play any sports. So they are the least active, the least athletic of the family. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back.
There's no aussi or autant here.
Well, if you think about it, there can't be aussi or autant because those are words that we use when things are equal to each other. But if we're talking about le superlatif, meaning like the most or the least, if you are like the most of something, there's nobody who's equal to you. So we only have these 2 options here. You're either the greatest, most, or the least, worst.
Okay.
Yeah.
Merci.
No, I am glad to answer the questions. And let's take a look at these and see if any more questions pop up. We've got le superlatif des noms, so of nouns. And again, comparing quantities of at least 2, but likely more things or ideas. And so, les garçons ont 100 livres, mais la bibliothèque a 100,000 livres. Mademoiselle Heller a voyagé à 31 pays. Madame Carpinella a voyagé à 7 pays. So we have at least 2 things that are being compared. La bibliothèque a le plus de livres. Madame Carpinella a voyagé à le moins de pays. So what do you notice about these sentences that are different than some of the ones we saw before?
So I notice again, there's a de after plus or moi. And I noticed there's a le before plus or moi, but I'm a little confused why it's le if this is supposed to supposed to agree with the first noun.
So that's a very good point. So first, to address the word de, yes, because we're talking about a noun, we've got to have that de there when we're making a comparison or a superlative statement. And in this case, the word le, since we're saying it's the most, the word the is agreeing with the word most. It's not agreeing back with bibliothèque. So we don't need to make it agree or change with bibliothèque. We're going to leave it as le plus, so because le is agreeing with the word plus, and the same thing with the word le moi.
Okay.
That's why it's masculine there. So now we're going to take a look at some special words that are really common but also can be really tricky, and we want to make sure that we all understand what we're looking at here. So we have some comparative and some superlative statements here, and on the left we've got a graph that represents the opinions of some different people's preferred flavors of ice cream and the percentages for how people answered when they were asked which ones were their favorite. So the sentences I have here that are based on the graph: la glace au chocolat est la meilleure. La glace aux fraises est pire que la glace au chocolat. La glace à la vanille est meilleure que la glace à la menthe et la glace au biscuit. And finally, la glace à la menthe et la glace au biscuit sont les pires. So these new words, meilleur and pire, what do you notice about them, Madame, or what information can you give us or questions can you give us?
So I'm trying to look at this logically and kind of mathematically, and I see that 35% of people prefer chocolate, and I already know that plus means the most, so I'm going to guess that meilleur does not mean the most, but maybe that chocolate ice cream is the best.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at strawberry is 30%, and I see pire, but I don't see le or la. So, and I have que. So strawberry ice cream is worse than chocolate. Similarly, on the next sentence, there's no le or la, and there's a que. So vanilla ice cream is better than mint and cookie dough. And lastly, we do have a lay and no que. So mint ice cream and cookie dough ice cream are the worst.
Awesome. So you've definitely zeroed in on the right definitions. Meilleur can be better or best. And it really depends on if, like in sentence 3, the third sentence, we're comparing it with another specific item, or if, like the first sentence, we're trying to say it's the best overall. So meilleur is better and la meilleure is best. And pire is worse or the worst. Exactly, right? And we know this is true based on the logic you used to think through and figure out what these could possibly mean. So that's excellent. Très bien. Okay, voila, la dernière. We have here mieux, which is a really interesting word. So if we take a look at these sentences, je joue mieux au football que ma cousine, gives the same meaning as ma cousine joue pire au football que moi. Je parle français le mieux de la classe is the same meaning as la classe parle le français pire que moi. So what do you think is going on with this word mieux, and why did it show up here? What are your thoughts, Madame?
So again, I like to be logical. I see this equal sign, which in different orders, which is telling me that pire and mieux are probably some kind of opposite. So I know what this second sentence means. My cousin plays soccer worse than me. and the class speaks French worse than me. So my guess is that mieux must mean the opposite of worse,
Which is?
better,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought meilleur meant better.
So very good train of thought. You're right. Mieux and meilleur are both opposites of pire. If pire is worse or the worst, both meilleur and mieux have to mean better, or la meilleure, le meilleur, and le mieux, the best. So we know that mieux means the same thing as meilleur, but any guess as to why it's used here in this situation, but not on the other page?
Well, if you go back to the other page, I notice in all of these sentences, the verb is a form of être. So, la glace chocolat est la meilleure, glace aux fraises est pire, la vanille est meilleure, and les glaces à la menthe et au biscuit sont les pires. So I notice those are all a form of être, but on the next slide, there are different verbs in each sentence.
Perfect. So meilleur is an adjective, right? In the first set of all of these notes, we only learned how to compare adjectives or nouns. And on the previous slide, we had that chocolate, is the best, and strawberry is worse than chocolate. And these words better and worse are adjectives, right? They're describing the quality of the ice cream flavors. And on this page, I'm not saying that I am like more athletic. I'm not saying an adjective quality about me, but I'm saying that I do a certain action better, or that somebody else does a certain action worse. So instead of with adjectives, I'm working with verbs. So that means mieux grammatically is an adverb, but you're right that logically you can look at it, and if it's not the verb être, a form of être, then you're going to need mieux.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. But if you have any other questions or thoughts about anything we looked at today, make sure to ask en classe.
Oui.
Good?
Oui.
D'accord.
Okay.
All right, merci.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.